welcome to another amazing episode of Rulers and Looters. In this program we discuss the problems in Africa and a way forward. Remember, this is BTV, Anambra State, the Ego Eye, and I am Onyinye Chukwunamko. With me today here in the studio is on my left, Wada Ude, welcome to the program. Thank you. And on my right, Mazi Onyemechi, you are welcome. So we'll be looking at an overview of the impact of European intervention in Africa per se. With Africa being the birthplace of civilization, rich in history, abundance in natural resources, and diversity in cultures that make Africa beautiful. What can you say, Mazi, that the Europe brought in Africa?
Exactly. So we will continue to expose the evil that is going on and watch and see how faith and posterity will be able to vindicate us at the end of the day that the truth was spoken. And I want to say this: what is the next step now concerning the securities issues that have been going on in our lands? Our people are no longer safe on the road. You are no longer safe on the air. You are no longer safe in the water. You are no longer safe. In fact, everywhere is being occupied. We hear killings, deaths, kidnappings. What is the way forward? What is the way forward for our people?
I tell you the truth. Biafra is the answer. One is that every object, remains at its rest until a relevant force is applied to it. Not just a force. A force could just be applied and it doesn't move. But when you talk about force, you're talking about a relevant force. And what is the change that's coming is Biafra. Because there's no way, you see, Nigeria, when you look at Nigeria, it has never worked. It's 1914 up until now. The only thing that you talk about in Nigeria is evil. When you look at the background and you look at the Nigerian army, look at the security system, and you look at the terror that is happening. But the security has always been there to terrorize the people. Remember that the West Africa Frontier Army wasn't designed for the people. It was designed to take over the land, to frustrate the people and to take over the land. And that is what has become Nigerian army today. When you look at the background of Nigerian army, it is the kind of army that was formed by the British to take over our land. That is what it is, and up until now, that is what has been there. And if they come under uniform, of course, they are coming under uniform because they want to, because there's a country they call Nigeria, because there's a place they call the contraption they have they moped up together and they call Nigeria. So they have to give it uniform. But look at it; it is about terror. You are a Nigerian today by force, not because you want to be a Nigerian. So it's the same terror. So there's no difference between the Fulani herdsmen that is there in the bush. There's no difference between the Boko Haram that you see. There's no difference between that kidnapper that has kidnapped these 12 people and the ones on uniform. They are the same people doing the same duty for the same people. So we are looking at a situation where Biafra must be restored, because until Biafra is restored, we don't have a platform where you can, of course, secure your people, secure yourself. We have to be secured, of course, as a people, as a group, and of course as a nation. So that is why we are fighting for Biafra, and that is why we are here, to restore our dignity, to restore our identity, and of course we'll be protected.
Yes, thank you very much, Mazi Okorie. And it just came to, when you talk about Biafra being the only solution, I want to say this. I don't know if I'm correct. Would the indigenous security, they call it regional outfit, security outfit, would it by any means be of a solution to this security mayhem that has been occurring for a while now? We have the instances of the Yorubas had formed their outfits, the North has their own security outfit, but when it comes to Biafra land, everything is being done in opposite direction. Things are not being done to relate. Our leaders are not doing things to relate with the situations that we have on ground, the security situations that is on ground. So would regional outfits be a way out? What do you think about regional outfits?
Well, you see, anything that you talk about, whether regional outfit or whatever that is in the evil contraction called Nigeria, is a mistake, it's a failure. Why would I say so? He that pays the piper dictates its tune. You must understand that. Okay. So you see, until Biafra is restored, then we can take charge. You know, when you have a land and of course a government that is your own, We're talking about the government of the people, for the people, and by the people. Okay. And you, of course, when the security forces are being paid by the state, or maybe they are even motivated by the people themselves, you secure your own community, you secure your own self, or the state is giving you security. It's quite different from when a stranger is in charge of your security. You talk about the Nigerian army today. Who is in charge of the Nigerian army? You talk about community, of course, the local outfits they are providing, of course, regionalized security force you are talking about. Okay, maybe it could work in the West. It could work with the Yorubas. But you see, in Biafra land, remember that just a week ago, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, his parents was being buried, of course, and you know what happened. What did we see? We saw that the federal government of Nigeria sent troops to a burial, and of course a burial ceremony. And as we are talking now, some of our brothers were arrested, were kidnapped, and some of them are still being tortured up until now. What are we talking about? We are talking about a system where they are kidnapping in the north, where there are killings in the north, and you talk about a government that cannot provide security, and they are sending their army to a place that burial is being conducted. So tell me, what about if it's a local security force is of course organized, and you have the federal troops coming against them? What are they going to do? So that is the question. That is why until Biafra is restored, you cannot be sure of security.
Definitely, Biafra remains the only solution, the permanent solution to all the crisis that is occurring. And I just want to ask you, this is a very quick one. What do you think about the reactivation of the Biafran Security Service? You know, this was an initiative by our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, who initiated the Biafran Security Service. Do you think if Biafra Security Service should be in place today, that it is going to help widely to curtail the security the security issues, menace that is occurring in our land today? What do you think about the BSS?
Yes, yes, that is the powerful step by our leader. And of course, remember what our leader promised when he resurfaced in Israel. He said he was going to, of course, replicate the efficacy of Mossad in Biafra land. And of course, when you are talking about the efficacy of Mossad in Biafra land, we are looking at the BSS today. So our leader is working hard, seriously hard. And of course, when you're talking about BSS coming to play, remember that the Fulani herdsmen would have actually taken over Biafra land by now. Remember what actually has happened in our land. And remember how the BSS has worked. Sometimes people are looking at it that, yes, we see the uniformed men, we see the Nigerian army on the streets, of course, trying to use their power of impunity against us. But we, the indigenous people of Biafra, are not sleeping, because if not, if not for the sake of what our leader has been doing, the efficacy of BSS, I tell you that the Fulani herdsmen would have taken over Enugu, would have taken over so many places in Biafra land as we are talking. Because you know that, of course, we know that up until last year, they had already taken over, or they have already settled in majority of the villages in Biafra land. And of course, it took the BSS to do a lot of underground work to discover them. Because we started exposing them. And of course, you see that the Mazi Nnamdi Kanu saying that BSS is back. And when he said BSS is back, you may not see them on uniform in the streets, of course, until it's time for that. Because when the time comes, the right things will be done. Because Biafra restoration is something that is sacrosanct. We must have our own security outfit. We must have everything that we used to have 1967. That is what it means to restore Biafra. So when you are looking at it today, yes, that is the only solution. And unless you have the BSS fully enforced, today they are not armed. It's not just having the BSS back. They are working quite well, but there's a point when our state, when we talk about restoration of Biafra in full, when the BSS will be armed, then they can match the enemy shoulder to shoulder. No, that is what we are looking at. So BSS remains the only solution, and of course our leader had promised that he's going to replicate the efficacy of Mossad in Biafra land.
Yes, that's a wonderful one here by analysis by Mazi Oriako. This is what he is known for, this is what he has been doing, and this is how he has been serving the indigenous people of Biafra. And I take this from him that VSS remain the only solution. VSS, the efficacy of the Mossad security service outfit would be replicated in our very own Biafra security service. That's a wonderful one. Thank you very much, Mazi Okorie. And moving on to the next news, before I move on to the next news, this is Sunrise Daily. This is a Biafra television, and we are not appointed, or we have not appointed anyone to solicit on our behalf in terms of money, in terms of any material things. We don't have anybody who is speaking for us. In as much as we need the support of goodwill men and women out there, Biafrans out there, but we would advise strongly that those goodwill donations are done in the proper channel. Nobody has been appointed, nobody has been kept aside to speak on our behalf or to solicit for funds for Biafra television. If you want to assist, if you want to be part of those very projects, if you want to make a contribution to this very television, that at the end of the day we will get to a state of perfectness, of perfection, then I would want to say to you to contact the right channel. You know how to get to us. Mazi Okorie, moving to the next news headline we have. The next headline we have here, the governor of Delta State made a wonderful revelation recently concerning the security states of his states. He talked about the military giving assistance to the Boko Haram killers that we have in the land, Fulani headsmen, in particular. It is a surprising thing to many people to have heard that the military will be in charge. But we should remember that even T.Y. Danduma had made such allegations in recent time. So what do you have to say about it?
Of course, we know that Delta State, the former governor of Delta State was the one that accommodated these Fulani people. And of course gave them settlements in Delta State, and today they have become headache to Delta State. Yes, you know, there was a time when other states were chasing out these men because the activities were discovered long time ago. The activities were discovered all over Biafra land, and of course a time when they were being chased out, the Delta State government, the former government, gave them shield and of course gave them settlements. Today they have become a pain in the neck in Delta State. And of course we knew that the same thing in Lokpa, former governor of Abia State, Ojo Zokano, also gave them settlements around that place. And today go to those areas where they were giving settlements, they have become a pain in the neck. So that is why today Okowa is crying out. He's crying out because that is what he has come to inherit. And when we are talking about the evil being unleashed by this man, he is saying it the same way it happened in Benue State is what is happening in Delta State today. And of course, all the while when we cry out, it seems that we are talking too much, it seems we are shouting too much. But this is coming from a governor. The same way that we saw it happen when Dajuma said it in Benue State, when Governor Otom said it, the same way now Okowa is crying out because this Fulani herdsmen, they have no conscience. That is what we see in Biafra.
Thank you very much, Mazi Okorie. We'll be going on a quick break and we'll be right back. Please stay with us.